Hello friends, and welcome to the video. So this is going to be the next episode, is it? In the series on the direct path of these experiments we're going through to check that everything is just witnessing awareness and there's nothing separate from us. Now, so I've just lost half the audience. I got the feeling that these are not so popular, but I will do them all and then they will be there in a playlist, and if anyone wants to go through them at some other time, then that's great, if you feel like this kind of exploration. But I've got the feeling right now that they're a bit dry. But anyway, there we go. That's that. Can't always be fun. I have these I have to teach all ages, adults and teenagers too, and as low as 11, sometimes 10-year-olds, and I just tell them it's not fun. English isn't fun. You're not here to have fun. I would say I'm quite okay with kids, but I don't try to entertain them all the time. No, they always ask for games, and I say no. Games are really horrible and boring. The time will go quickly if we just stick to what we're doing. I'm getting so distracted now. So this is going to be the touch, just because I know the touch video is not going to be very interesting. It's going to be the same as basically the other touch video. We're treating the world in this part as object. We're going to touch your leg, touch your knee. The last video I did was the seeing one. I forgot to say at the end of that you can try seeing, looking at other parts of your body. Look at your hand, look at your leg, look in the mirror, look at a photograph. And here it's the same. I'm going to do touching the knee, but later you can touch your head, touch your neck, touch your, foot, your heart, your face, get somebody else to touch you. So here we're going to, you put your hand on your knee. Now, so you feel touch, and you have to just focus on the feeling of touch. So forget about the other sensations, proprioception, the feeling of your arm being a certain position. If you want, you can move your hand on your leg just to get the feeling of texture there. So maybe you can feel a texture, focus on that. There might be some warmth. Now, you may feel that there are two things there. You may feel that you can feel your hand and you can feel your leg being touched by your hand, because conceptually we imagine that there's a body and that we are receiving the messages from two different sensory pathways. So, and that's fine. If you feel it as one sensation or if you feel it as two, there's no wrong answers here. So it's up to whatever you feel in your direct experience, what's going on. So you have this feeling of touch. Now, first we're going to break it down into either you just, you can feel your hand touching your leg. There's two feelings. And then we're going to look at if it's just one feeling. So first put your hand on your leg, relax, and there's this heart opener where you imagine that you feel that you're this awareness, this open awareness. Now, and relax a bit. Now you can feel your hand, you can feel the sensation of touch there. Now, that touch, can you feel the thing producing the feeling of touch? So if your hand is touching your leg, can you feel that there is a leg there that's causing the touching, the feeling, the texture? Or is it just the texture? Or is it just the warmth? This combination of warmth, texture, or is there something else that's also that's producing that feeling? Can you feel that within your sense of touch? Can you feel something else causing that feeling to happen? And if not, if so, then what would that be like? Now lift your hand off your leg and put it down again so it's fresh, the feeling of touch. You can feel that touch, maybe texture, heat, some sort of maybe humidity, depends how hot you are, wherever you are. Now, you've got this feeling of touch and texture. So there's touch, touching a texture. Now, are they really two things? Are they ever separate? Is there a texture without the feeling of touching it? Is it possible of touching without any feeling of texture? Because if they are always arise together, then how can it be two things? So there's this feeling of touching, this sensation. Now lift your hand off your leg, put your hand down again. So we're still focusing on the hand touching the leg, the feeling of the hand. Now, without resorting to any conceptual idea of your hand or anything like that, can you feel a subject that's doing the touching? Can you feel that there's two things there? That there's this touching and there's a subject who's touching it? Or is this just arising in awareness? Now lift your hand. Now feel that you are the awareness. You can feel you're aware. You're here now. And then touch your leg again. And now this sensation has arisen in awareness. Is there any proof that... Is there any evidence that this is pointing to something outside of awareness? And if it were, what would that be like? Okay, good. Now we're going to look at the leg that you're being touched. So lift your hand, put your hand on your leg. Now feel the sensation of being touched. Now, is that being touched? What is that? What does that feel like? Is it hot or cold? Or probably not cold, but is there a texture there? Does this show you what is touching it? Could it be something else? Would it feel different if it was a brushing against a sofa or something? Lift your hand again. Put your hand down. Now this sense of touch and texture, are they separate or is it just one thing? Do they ever arise separately? Is there ever a texture waiting to be touched? If you don't go into thought, conceptual, just through the sensation of touch, can you touch a texture that's not touched, an untouched texture? Is that possible to touch? Or is it just one thing? Now lift your hand and then put it down again. So you're being touched again. Now, does it prove that there's anything that's touching you, that's anything independent, exterior to awareness, which is touching you? Okay. Lift your hand. And feel you are the awareness and lower it and feel that you're being touched again. As that rises in awareness, is there anything about it that is more than awareness or different from awareness? Or is it just awareness? Now lift your hand. Is the awareness still there? Did the awareness ever go away at any point? Was the awareness anything other than awareness? It appeared to be the feeling of being touched, but was that just anything more than just knowing, which is just awareness? Okay, so now if you just felt one feeling, we're going to look at that now in the same way. So lift your hand, put your hand on your leg. Now there's one feeling there. Now that feeling, is there any evidence within the feeling of touch that there's something producing that feeling? Are there two things you're touching there? You said it's just one feeling of touch, but is there anything does this point to anything outside that's not conceptual? Ignoring all the feeling of, your concepts of your body or what your vision might tell you or what your conditioning might tell you. Is there anything there other than just this feeling of being, this texture there? Lift your hand, Put your hand down again. Now, is there anything about the texture that points to anything outside of the texture, that there's something producing the texture? And is that texture separate from touching, or does it always arise together? Is there an untouched texture that before you touch it? And if so, what would that feel like? Not what would it feel like conceptually, but is it possible to feel that? Or is it just an arising in awareness? Lift your hand. Now you can feel you're aware. Put your hand down again, and the sensation arises in awareness. And what's that made of? Is it made of anything other than awareness? Does it point to anything outside of awareness? Is it evidence that there's anything outside of awareness? And if it is, what part of the sensation is the evidence? Okay, very good. Now, you can try this experiment by touching other parts of your body. You can get people to touch you. You can also try it with leaning against a wall or sitting on the chair, the feeling of your bottom against the chair or whatever. Yeah, really explore different things to help dissolve this feeling that you are this separate. There's this body that is separate from your awareness, that is actually producing your awareness. In fact, when you look into it, you see that everything is just arising in awareness. Your body is in your awareness, and there's nothing other than awareness. Right, in the next video, we're going to go into seeing, tasting, and hearing the body, which is not as strong. Clearly hearing, tasting, and smelling the body. The disgusting ones. To see if they're not as strong though. It's not as strong as seeing your body and touching the body that really makes you feel that there's the body there outside, outside of awareness, that this is a reflection of, or in some way. Yeah, they're more subtle. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.